Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Hublot. Today, I'll be your guide to the features and facets of the Hublot Classic Fusion Tourbillon Cathedral Minute Repeater Titanium. But first, a word from our sponsor. That was the Hublot caliber HUB 8001 manufacture movement. But before we get back into the movement, let's start from the outside and work our way in. The clasp is exactly what you would expect in this caliber of timepiece. Twin trigger release means it cannot accidentally pop open. Very secure, you must depress both. Not friction fit, it gives you absolute peace of mind. And you'll note that the inside, fully finished, all of high polish, not a single unfinished surface, even in this rarely seen portion of the timepiece. And thoroughly designed, even the lower clasp body is fashioned in the image of Hublot's slashed H pattern. It also features a minderless system such that excess strap length can be tucked underneath the clasp body and maintained out of sight until needed, with no resort to minder loops to mar the strap. The strap is a beautiful, rectangular, small-scale, monotone stitch alligator leather in gray with a thin and supple Hublot natural vulcanized rubber strap underneath. It swells to meet the taper of the lugs, and it's a long-time Hublot hallmark. No one does a supple rubber strap like Hublot, which has been working in the fusion of materials, leather, rubber, precious metals, and others, since its 1980 inception. But Hublot has found an all-new way to revolutionize horology in this open-worked dial Tourbillon minute repeater. Of course, the design language is entirely modern Hublot, featuring the imagery of the classic fusion line, alternately satin-finished hoods of the lugs, satin-finished bezel top, and a beautiful, sensuous, polished flank to the bezel and the case. You'll note the gorgeous compound curves of the case flank and the fully expressed bezel gasket. More on that in a moment, as it's a key functional component of the movement. Now, diving in, this is a watch for those who love movements, for those who are mesmerized by them. What you're looking at is over 300 parts of all in-house Hublot minute repeating tourbillon with an 85-hour manually wound power reserve. Now, it features Cathedral gongs as per the namesake, and one of only 99, it is extremely exclusive. Cathedral gongs, to explain in brief, are circumferential gongs. You can see the wire along the periphery of the movement underneath the sapphire. They make not one but two full orbits of the movement, thus Cathedral gongs, double circumferential. You'll also note that the finish of this movement is absolutely top shelf in the best tradition of Geneva watchmaking. Black polish on the hammers of the repeaters. You'll also note mirrored anglage on the edge of every bridge. Polished screw heads with chamfered slots. Everything has been both styled and engineered. Neither one gives way in a timepiece of this echelon. Now, clever integration of the bolt for the repeater means that the traditional bezel gasket of the watch has in fact become a slider. It can be pulled up, at which point the rack and snail mechanism will begin to activate the repeater, and on the back of the watch, a completely silent governor, a unique and extraordinary refinement in a repeater, ensures that the repeater runs at a stately tempo rather than simply sounding out in an instant. Now, you'll note the tourbillon cage, beautifully finished, ticking away and anchoring the front side of the dial. Completely open worked, you can see not just the tourbillon and the repeater, but even routine elements of the watch movement, such as the keyless works, which can be seen in action when the clutch is engaged at 3 o'clock. Every element of the watch is expressed to the maximum. And while the movement is afforded pride of place, remember, legibility on a repeater is less a function of sight and more a function of sound. In action, the repeater itself chimes the time, the hours, the quarters after the hour, and of course the minutes after the final quarter. Therefore, if you want to get the maximum sound off, you would set the watch to 12:59. And we'll do that right now. As one of only 99 made in titanium, 45 millimeters, this is an exclusive and spectacular take on both the Tourbillon, whose orbital motion essentially cancels out gravity or positionally induced timing deviation, and the minute repeater, a romantic 18th century invention chiming the time, a holdover from an era when we didn't have artificial lighting, and our best bet was simply to hear the time after nightfall. It's a romantic marriage of the very traditional with the ultra-modern. Hublot, after all, is a brand built on the concept of fusion, and none better embodies that than the Hublot Classic Fusion Tourbillon Cathedral Minute Repeater Titanium, available through our company, Govberg, and you can learn more about it on our website, govbergwatches.com.